The United States is preparing to send one of its most powerful naval assets into the Middle East, as Washington continues to manage the military fallout from its war with Iran. The nuclear-powered USS Theodore Roosevelt aircraft carrier, carrying around 5,000 sailors, is expected to deploy to the region in the coming weeks. The mission is reportedly expected to last at least 7 months and could continue even longer. The Roosevelt will replace the USS George Washington, which arrived in the Middle East on August 20th and has already begun operations. An aircraft carrier is essentially a floating military base capable of launching fighter jets, conducting surveillance, and supporting a wide range of naval missions far from U.S. territory. Its arrival would give Washington a major concentration of military power at a time when tensions surrounding Iran remain extremely high. The length of the Roosevelt's deployment is already raising concerns. Navy officials are reportedly preparing the crew for a mission lasting 7 months or more. Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy, John Perryman, has indicated that sailors understand they could be in the Middle East for an extended period. Admiral Darrell Caudle, commander of U.S. Fleet Forces Command, has also acknowledged the difficulty of maintaining lengthy deployments. Caudle has said he prefers a 7-month deployment and strongly opposes extending deployments beyond that period. However, military commanders must respond to battlefield conditions. If the conflict with Iran continues to demand a major American naval presence, the Roosevelt could remain in the region beyond the expected time frame. For thousands of sailors, that could mean months away from their families while operating under potentially intense conditions. The Roosevelt's deployment is also connected to the return of the USS Abraham Lincoln. The Lincoln had been deployed to the Middle East since January and has now completed its mission and begun its journey home. Its prolonged deployment has reportedly raised concerns about the conditions faced by sailors, including the pressure of spending months at sea away from their families and normal support networks. Reports have also highlighted concerns about living conditions and mental health during extended deployments. This makes the carrier rotation more than a simple military maneuver. Washington must balance its strategic requirements with the human cost of keeping thousands of sailors deployed for long periods. Replacing one carrier with another allows the United States to maintain its presence in the Middle East, while eventually giving another crew the opportunity to return home. But moving the George Washington from the Pacific creates another strategic challenge. The carrier is normally based at Yokosuka Naval Base in Japan and had been operating in the Pacific before being redirected toward the Middle East. Its movement means the Asia-Pacific region temporarily has no U.S. aircraft carrier. That is significant because the Indo-Pacific remains a critical theater for Washington, with security challenges involving China, North Korea, and other regional actors. Aircraft carriers are a major tool for projecting American power and reassuring allies. The United States still maintains substantial air, naval, and ground forces throughout the Indo-Pacific, so this does not mean Washington has abandoned the region. However, the absence of a carrier changes America's visible forward military posture, and that shift is being closely watched by allies and potential adversaries. The concern becomes even greater when combined with reported changes to U.S.-South Korea military cooperation. According to the report, President Donald Trump has directed a significant reduction in joint military exercises between the United States and South Korea. These exercises have traditionally demonstrated readiness and helped maintain coordination between the two militaries. With the George Washington simultaneously moving toward the Middle East, some observers have raised concerns about a potential security gap in Northeast Asia. For South Korea, American military assets are closely linked to deterrence against North Korea. For Washington, maintaining a credible presence in the Indo-Pacific is also important to its alliances and wider strategic competition. The situation demonstrates the difficult choices facing the United States. Military resources are finite, and moving a major asset from one theater to another inevitably changes the balance of forces. Ultimately, the USS Theodore Roosevelt deployment represents much more than another aircraft carrier rotation. The Abraham Lincoln is heading home after an extended Middle East deployment. The George Washington has shifted from the Pacific to the Middle East, and now the Roosevelt is preparing to enter the region for what could be a 7-month mission or longer. The immediate goal is clear: maintain American naval strength in the Middle East, while the conflict with Iran continues to influence Washington's military calculations. But the wider consequences remain uncertain. The temporary absence of a U.S. carrier from the Asia-Pacific could concern regional allies at a time when tensions remain high. For American commanders, the challenge will be balancing competing demands while avoiding excessive pressure on military personnel. As the Roosevelt prepares to sail, its deployment could become an important indicator of how Washington intends to distribute its military power and what its next strategic move may be.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to Mirror Now.